I've just driven about 3 minutes up from Bray, and there's this little area of land between the sea. So kind of that side is the eastern part of the sea, and that side's western. So I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's like that's the North Sea and that's the Atlantic," but it's kind of a bit silly when you've got all these little inlets and things. But yeah, so this is called Mavis Grind. I don't know how you pronounce that. Grind. Sort of a bit of land between the two bits of water. Yeah, there's a few signs. We're going to have a look at the signs. Yes, there's a little picnic table and some signs, so we'll have a look see what the signs say. So it's Old Norse. Gate of the Narrow Isthmus. Yes, they will have put their boats from one side to the other to save going right round the land. They've just sort of dragged their boats over from one side of the sea to the other, yeah. Tank traps from the war and all that, World War II, yeah. And yeah, this is about the geology. Some of the rocks are 2.2 billion years old. It's nearly as old as the Earth. There's different layers and yeah, 350 million to 2.2 billion years old are the rocks of North Maveen, originally from the heart of the ancient continent, yeah. And this just sort of shows you the rocks in different segments there. They've made that thing to match that from the sign. Some of the different ages. Of course, there are quarries here. That there was a little quarry in the hole there. And then just down the road around the corner, there was a quarry in there. And of course, there was loads of vehicles parked in it. Sheep and that, yeah. Just have a nice time going paddling in the sea, yeah. And I don't know if this ever gets lit up. This looks like lights. Welcome to North Maveen, the sign there. Yeah, so I don't know if it lights up at night time or what. But yeah, so there we go. Look at the other side. There's two people there. They said they were just filming, filming everything. They can relive it because they said they might never come here again, so their one visit as tourists to Shetland. So they're filming everything. Nice clear waters. Yeah, so I just drove round the corner from that little isthmus thing, and I noticed all these hired cars and vans and that here. Thinking, well, what I wonder why they're all parked here. Then when I looked across to the left from where I'm looking now, but I was driving this way, so I looked to the right. There's a house, and of course there's a massive film crew with the lighting and all that at this house. So I know that they do film like a crime series, Shetland, on the islands and that here. So that house there, I don't know if you can see, there's like a round thing. It's like a lighting thing going on. So they must be sort of filming something at that house. There's all these different vans and things, hire cars. So they're filming. What you can see in the distance up there is the wind farm, Viking wind farm. Part of it, I mean, there's 103 turbines. You can see part of it there. So I'm looking south. So yeah, you can see. Sort of see there. Look, film crews and different things happening in that house. Okay, so I'm heading north now from Bray. And I'm going to go and have a bit of a look round the sort of north and northwestern part of North Maveen on mainland Shetland. And you can see some of the views here, and then going straight ahead you can see where the road's heading that way. So there's various kind of things, like you have these kind of sea locks and stuff, inlets, and then you have, you see where the fisheries are as well there on the left, and then there's some freshwater lakes as well that we're going to pass, and you can see the kind of rock and so on that we looked at earlier on those information boards about the sort of old, very old rock and the mixtures of ages of rock here. Here's one of these like freshwater lakes as mentioned. We just passed a couple of others along the way, but hidden a bit right behind the peak here. What you can see on this hillside is peat cutting. You can see these sort of rectangular blocks where the peat's been cut historically and then the vegetation put back on, and actually there's a little bit of stuff going on here, active peat cutting and bits and pieces, people extracting things from there. You can see this whole area here that's been cut, and in fact you can see a bit of a bare peat face there that someone's been having a go at. So they sort of move the vegetation to the side and then they'll put it back on. But yeah, so lots of peat cutting. You see this all over the Shetlands actually, the peat cutting. There's loads of it. Yeah, so this doesn't look like it, but it's quite shallow peat here. There's a bit rocky underneath, but shallow peat on this side, but quite deep peat on that side, and you can see it from the cuttings there. Maybe when I say deep, it's like a metre and a half, not as deep as in some places. So you can see here another one of these sort of fresh lakes of the peat landscape. The peat's quite degraded here. Probably too many sheep. You can see it's not doing as well as it could be. And you've got sort of little freshwater lake there as well. And you can see in the background there, Sullenvo, the oil terminal, and a standing stone. And just as I came along the road, actually just round the corner down there, there was a sort of quarry cutting inside the road, and it was completely full with loads and loads of lorries and trailers and caravans and everything for the film crew that must be making that film, which is at that house earlier on. So there's actually 2 stations where all the film crews and everything are. So yeah, remarkable really. Amount of sort of facilities and things that were, you know, crazy really. See more of the peat cutting on the hillside there. Loads of blocks being cut out. Just past some pretty recent cutting as well. You can see here some of the just dried out peat on the edge there. Sort of oxidised like that. It doesn't really re-wet up again, kind of black and hard. It doesn't hold much water. It's sort of not repairable when it gets to that stage. An amazing scene, look, the mountain going up there, a little freshwater lake, and then the beach scene there, look, from the sea inlet. A little strip of land between the freshwater lake and the beach. You come across that road there, and then you come around and you've got a very different scene. So we've got a sort of abandoned house here, but then look at the fantastic sea stacks. There's a little sandy beach here, and you've got all these sea stacks just sort of sitting up. Amazing. Yeah, so it's actually called Sandwick, and then we're looking out here towards St Magnus Bay. So that's where we are. And the bit of land that sort of sticks out, that's called Hillswick. So a big green bit of land sticking out. Well now, here's a scene that shows you the effect of these sheep here. If you look at the fence line on the left, it's green, and on the right, it's completely sort of degraded and loads of erosion and bare areas and really poor conditions. So a little bit of a fence to keep the sheep out, and you can see the fence runs along that bit there as well. So all this is in bad condition just from a few sheep. The land can't really cope with heavy grazing, and it's really degraded it. So that just shows you that fence line. And behind me in this little corridor area, there's somebody doing something with a, yeah, just if they're collecting stones or what they're doing there. Yeah. So we are coming now into an area called Zazaaaaxx. So we'll go and explore, and there's a little museum up here. So we're going to go to the Zazaaaaxx Museum. It should be free entry. We'll see if it's open, and we'll see if they allow me to film inside. So apparently the name Zazaaaaxx is from an old Norse word which means headland of volcanic rock. You can see peat cutting. You can see the kind of full range of the landscapes, and then the coastal sea stacks and everything. We're heading in this direction over here. So yeah, another sort of sandy area between the sea and a lake, sort of freshwater lake behind it. So we're still looking across at those amazing sea stacks. They're really tall and narrow. This kind of volcanic headland here. And yeah, we're here at the Zazaaaaxx Museum. So we're going to have a little look. Got a little sheltered picnic area in here before we go in this house. There's an old laird's house apparently, so we'll go and see what's happening. Yeah, a little picnic area, you can see the sea stacks and things. There we go, we just said go and have a look around. No admission charge, just explore. There's tea and coffee if you want it. That was it really, so yeah. And what have we got here? An otter skin jacket, dear me. That's a Shetland spade. Yeah. Hair stacks. All the peat cutting. A lot of work here in March and April when everything starts to get light. You know, dried stalks and all that stuff, yeah. Amazing, yeah. People making on winter nights, that's what you, so you know, the dark and the winter and all that, that's what you do. Yeah, making baskets and things like that. Harvest. Yeah. And of course you get the views out of here as well. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. Window's a bit mucky. Milk churn. Glass floats used before the days of aluminium or plastic, encased in net. Look at that. Candle lanterns and all that, yeah. There's 3 rooms upstairs. There's sort of this room, this middle room where the staircase is. Different egg, Arctic terns. Ship's built from the shipwreck. The last resident laird, 1840, in this house. Typical parlour for the laird. So it's good that explanatory labels are good, aren't they? Just tell you exactly what it is and what it's for. Very succinctly. It's incredible, isn't it, that? Hand sewn wedding dress, 1840. Pure silk. From the different beaches. Well, there we go. So Tangwick Ha, just for like the little Ha, sort of the house, the laird's house, is what that is all about there. So yeah, there we go. That was all good. Yeah, so there's a little track which just runs down from that house, that museum there, Hardwick Ha, and I'm just going to go down and see the beach down here then. A little stream running through the meadow there, beautiful yellow flowers, and that runs out and on the other side out to the sea just there. But we'll go and have a little walk, see what we can see on the beach. Yeah, so that's the house up there, just a short walk, and it's a very pebbly beach. loads of rock pools and that across there, but it looks a bit slippy, so I'm not going to risk going on it. Yeah, very slippy looking there. Yeah, sort of tide's part way out, but not all the way. You can see where the tide line can get to with the sort of black line of the seaweed there, just there, that black line. Yeah, so yeah, the water looks clear. Tremendous, sort of lots of seabirds just dipping in and out and everything. And amazing how much different types of seaweed there are just in that small little patch. Right, so we'll end this video here and we'll start a new one from the journey from the museum onwards. See you next time.